Welcome to True Talk Radio, your home for facts, fairness, and fearless conversations about saloon economy.
We're not just any radio. We're an economic governance radio station where they break down big decisions, policies, and budget in a way where go make sense to you.
For our flagship Sunday show, We Economy, we bring you the real bread and butter issues, where they around prices, jobs, taxes, and how policies they affect unu pockets. We also get more programs where they come every week. So join me now on 98.5 FM and online at True Talk FM. This now your platform, your economy and your voice on True Talk Radio. Get the facts, get True Talk. Welcome to True Talk Radio, your home for facts, fairness, and fearless conversations about saloon economy.
We're not just any radio. We're an economic governance radio station where they break down big decisions, policies, and budget in a way where go make sense to you.
For our flagship Sunday show, We Economy, we bring you the real bread and butter issues, where they around prices, jobs, taxes, and how policies they affect unu pockets. We also get more programs where they come every week. So join me now on 98.5 FM and online at True Talk FM. This now your platform, your economy and your voice on True Talk Radio. Get the facts, get True Talk. Welcome to True Talk Radio, your home for facts, fairness, and fearless conversations about saloon economy.
We're not just any radio. We're an economic governance radio station where they break down big decisions, policies, and budget in a way where go make sense to you.
For our flagship Sunday show, We Economy, we bring you the real bread and butter issues, where they around prices, jobs, taxes, and how policies they affect unu pockets. We also get more programs where they come every week. So join me now on 98.5 FM and online at True Talk FM. This now your platform, your economy and your voice on True Talk Radio. Get the facts, get True Talk.
Fambulem, welcome to State Capture Show. Mina Bimba Kamara, and for this evening term, we want to talk about how for the good of all actually they end in the pockets of the few. And in delving into this conversation, basically, we want to understand waiting for the good of all, in fact, and who that they decide waiting that good day for be, and who that they benefit from that good day. For this particular evening here, I want to work with Una for explain how money where governments can they amass, money where governments can they get, can end up for fall in the hands of few people then, instead of actually go into implementing projects them, we go develop the country and the ways in which them money are actually the left, the side where they allocate them for, and go for them inside the pockets of the few. As we go into the show today, we get for Yemi where they come with perspectives them on one, how then tax waivers them where can actually turn out for be an instrument for less small part of the population end up get within a huge part of the population actually for the get. We also did try for we will look into how them big companies them where they come inside Sierra Leone. The world don't open now. We get this global trade where they happen, and we say the world for be an open market. For able come go sell inside Nigeria, and then somebody will get in farm in Nigeria for able for come salon and can sell. Somebody for able for left America and can inside Sierra Leone for can even sell back there. And the same laws them way then would they apply to them Sierra Leonean businessman them. For be the same law them with them for go they apply to that person with them in continent can do business in Sierra Leone. The thing is we get for look into how where them people then they come, how then they use clever accounting them for able for manipulate figures them and end up for put money where them for don't be government for let government use them for develop the country, let it come to them instead as profits them within the send na them offshore accounts them or in overseas accounts them. We also get for look at how them one them now we call transfer pricing, by the way, but we get also get for look at how them shady procurement deals them, like where something with government for come or any institution for come and can make public deal, sorry, for public notice, put out a public tender, you will want for come in for do the bidding, you come and do them, and without actually qualify most na go secure that bidding day, how then they rig them, process them there, and then award them contracts them there, or award them tenders them there to people them we're close to the politicians them, or we're close to the one them with the inside power. And how then they affect you. And we also want to look at another factor. Now, we only understanding with the CC, the world they move. Things then before now, na paper, all thing, let me not go far. Me, where I've been the enter college, I'm up a time, na been a transition period. I'm up a time where people let me move away from all thing na paper. I like you want to apply na university, na paper you they use, you go with them na college. And if you want for register for any academic year na paper you they use, you write your modules them, how then sheets even to the documents them way sect gives them, they keep everything na be on paper, and that process mean they long, how them mean they move from that day to making sure all things can be digitalized, like in a computer now you just get machine where they use quick one woko if you don't take 50 minutes per year, end up take just 1-2 minutes per annum. So now that's time then they will meet up, and the same don't come inside with banking and with monetary systems them. We say you get some countries them now say we people them not actually they use money again for pay for things them. If you owe money, it is shocking to someone. Someone don't pass like 4-5 months or 1 year, you know, see actual paper money in some countries them. And waiting then they see mostly now that them card when they work out and make transactions. They actually don't begin come inside Sierra Leone, and we they move towards that again, they move towards that system there, as we all actually they see. And payments them then now where you they make way you not actually need for pull money and give, maybe pull your card give, or like then Swift transfers them with the B and how, and then Swift transfers them with the B. Sorry, we sign a digital currency they use for pay for things them. How then they use them system them they for make sure say money wait for go to government or money wait for come to the states will be siphoned away and kept in the hands of the few. So now we want to look at TV. We try for see how in all waiting with the talk, but now how money we actually for go na government in hand, they end up go na other side them where actually know the benefits the state, and the ways in which then can they do that, the name with the try for exploit TV. And later on inside the program we actually get a representative from the Budget Advocacy Network, we are the national coordinator, Mr. Abubakar Kamara, we get for lead with through one of the ways in which money we for they go to the government actually become see them in the hands of private individuals them, and how then they affect we. And one of the method actually get for talk, but and we refer to them as transfer pricing. And now something actually based on a research institution, Budget Advocacy Network, been carry out, and waiting have been them findings. Then we want to let them come explain them to Sierra Leoneans them as we explore the topic of state capture. And so stay with me. Remember, say the program they come to you on True Talk Radio 98.5 FM every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and you can catch me now with Facebook page if you want to follow me. You also can catch me on the YouTube page, and or if you dey listen radio, you can catch me on 98.5 FM. And mostly the phone number can be 0726411729 in case we open the phone line for let you contribute your voice, or then you add your small you really are nothing on the conversation we will get tonight, and how you go make recommendation where maybe that parastatal or that government official we currently they listen we able for adapt and say okay, let's try this and see how they able for better Sierra Leone as a country. Again, may they bring you the program today. Me your name na Bemba Kamara.
Business not for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation, where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Cabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week, we get for the talk for the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in they affect price, profits, and other things then, and we own safe life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country.
Alright, family, and welcome back. If you just join we say they talk about how for the good of all actually they end in the pockets of the few. You see, now family, if we don't follow Sierra Leone's economic trajectory, waiting we notice is the way we get what we call domestic revenue. Domestic revenue, they refer to the money where the country as itself actually they make and gather, where if they put into developmental practices them, or where if they put pan school, where if they put pan hospital for make sure say medicine and in a hospital them, then citizens then get access to medical facilities them for make sure say them pay for we picking them school fee in the free quality education we can offer make road them for we from that small money where then they gather where we call the domestic revenue. Now waiting we don't notice is the mobilization process, how then they gather them money them in different ways, whether not through tax now, whether not through agriculture, waiting in the sell, waiting we they notice a very low Sierra Leone money where they make for in development projects, them a very low compared to other countries them own. Waiting we notice now that in the past couple of years, well from last year to this year, come off from 7.4% of the total money where the country they make with GDP to 8.8% after recent reforms. Make I go over this part again. Waiting with the talk about now, out of the total money of the value of all the goods and services that Sierra Leone they make inside a year, businessman they own money or the government in money or how much multinational corporations they make now inside the country, all you add all together and the money in value where they come out. How much of that percent they actually they account for the money where government itself make for spend and development projects now just 7.4%. You see, and that been a small amount. But then as time begin go, the reform come off from 7.4% to 8.8%, an increase. So what's in that they show you now that small increment will be. They should say if not 10 million, if you exact then the law assume say you change them into figure terms them now 10 million additional income and then that 10 million then they able for use them for pay teacher them or then we're able to use them sometimes for B1 hospital na Koribondo or then we're able to use them for dig one water well na Kenema or for open university na Port Loko. You see, the money than the way it benefits the state in any way possible. And so waiting at the thing now is that the fact that this money and just 8.8% of we country in GDP, they tell we say we still not get better money for let we able for fund with basic services then. You see, imagine inside a country like let put them this way. Let me say, sir, you get you also they manage, and when you don't put all the money together inside that house, sometimes you picking don't begin work, your other picking can they sell market, and you as papa your own salary. When your own salary, they use that house for the upkeep of everybody within the house, for the cook now house, for buy lights, now your own salary then they use. And now we say all in all na 10,000. Then inside that 10,000, you your money as papa, your money where then they use for take care of the house. Something na 2,000 leon out of the 10,000. Where then go don't spend, like we say for buying us alone na 10,000 na 1,000 leon first. Then you go for pay them picking and school fee them 500 leon. Like we say if you don't spend that 1,500 leon na 2,000 the money don't done. Usa you go pull money now for actually take care of all the other things them na the house. Now yanda the question they come up. As you begin to cost now to either the picking where they sell market or that the other picking where just don't begin work. In essence, them thing then they get effect. I like you listen at young picking money self, or you go to neighbor, you go to us. And the same thing with the talk, but inside this situation here now. So Sierra Leone are like that papa, the government are like that papa, and that money then are like with domestic revenue will be the collect. And so if you look at the domestic revenue and you don't see say in Oboku, we compare to the total money where the country actually where the country as a whole actually they make in a given year, they make you they realize it because our government they take care of basic welfare service system now the state, they make you realize it we still have a long way to go as a country, and that gap there, that small gap there, actually very very meaningful to the citizens them. You see, I always they talk this say the reason why. Let me take the case of China, my family, where China been ready for growth. What in them do is now them open for reform plans them, and then they say okay, then big company they wanna Canada country. Now when them big company then Canada country, waiting them begin do that thing. The leader we been did with this time have been Deng Xiaoping inside the 1980s. Now when them open for like big company then begin, them big factory then begin come America, Canada country, they make then citizens them been able to get access to job. Now government's not been there in a position for provide job for people, and them been poor. Them been non-term ones under a communist state. The time which China have been a communist state, so you wouldn't see a government for provide work for all man. They work and then the profit of government they get, it will give you your rest now, or you take care of your own basic services them. It fail woefully, but people then die of angry. You see, so them say, well, we do them differently, and at that time now they allow the factory then come. Instead of government begin they get them factory then control, they say them man them come, and then when they come they employ the Chinese people, and with the end the way when them with China them do them, we can make everything understandable. Now when you they come, you factory they come, I know they tax you better. In fact, some places then they are not they tax you, then get economic zones them. We say they allow their business then come them flourish, and they not they tax them nothing. And where then they can be people that way they can work inside that factory, they pay them less. So if they make when you compare them to outside them factory, then they come outside government go they say the money where you they make 20% than million, then the people that way they can work in that factory go they pay them 1,000 million. When they can inside China, so then people that are 200 million you need for pay them, government not they tax you. So factory them mean they make extra profit. Excess profit where they inside China. Waiting government we they do none of that. Since the people and they work and they pay them, they don't need to rely on government for anything. And the government begin they ask the people them now, if they tax them for let them pay for let them pay tax. Where the people them, the Chinese citizen and not to the businessman, they the Chinese citizen they begin pay tax. That money, that domestic revenue. Imagine this was a population of 1 billion people. Imagine. Like let me say 500 million being the work, and then 500 million people them in the work, and them in the pay tax to government. You know how much money than the way government mean they get? So at the end of the day, before China they go for 800 million people be non come out of poverty, and the government will get enough money for spend for develop the country. So now make what you enter inside China right now. China will be very poor. Now a very big then you get a professor John Mayer Shaima we talk say he said the entire China right now are like one giant Hong Kong. Waiting and they mean that the way you they see development inside Hong Kong, where you go Guangzhou, now you they see now that same development you see. Where you go Shanghai, now that same development, like every side done so modernized. It's like the entire China, now a big a big city no more. You know they see even the rural areas them sweet for watch because the government will get enough money for spend back developmental projects them and not in they pay salary. That money citizens they already been they get work from private sector, and then they pay salaries and then they pay them salary. So the money when they come now to government, a bulk of them Musa been they go, a bulk of them they go into development. Unlike Sierra Leone, Musa they say the money when they pay for salary, you know, more Sierra Leone na 45% of the domestic revenue. So that they alone don't go pan salary, how much go left from school and development projects. The reason why we come with this insight now for show you how harmful it be for citizens them and how it happen differently in other parts them of the world. You see, so if they show say this is important, a fine for that we look into waiting actually it's the money where governments for the use for development, waiting actually they eat with domestic revenue. Why is it that unlike China, governments necessarily not get that money there for build hospitals them? Why is it that we know they make better roads them all across the country, or why we not get train stations them yet in the country where for go they actually help for improve things them for we? Now because the domestic revenue low. So now before we go in further, let we use metaphors them, let we use examples them for explain basically how this they affect you and how this they affect me. Now I get 3 metaphors them where I want let we look at. The first one For let una understand wetin we dey try for talk about na let me think about the rule book theft. Now wetin I dey try for talk inside here, imagine say you get a football game inside person like if referee dey rogue inside game and no dey sweet anybody, you know what I mean? Because the other team go dey say, hey, advantage them way for go, they come to me, they go to other person. Now imagine in this situation, say instead of for let the referee rogue, like the rule book, the thing where they determine waiting a foul or waiting for cause penalty, imagine say person come no more, it change the entire rule. Say if you sweep person inside in 18-yard box, not a penalty. Waiting and they show you. Waiting you go think about and they imagine say person come, it change them rule them day. Waiting they happen na that. When they change them rules them day, they affect the game in such a way that you sometimes one team, if in good per foul, if this one team good per foul, let's say na Gattuso them boko inside there, them good per foul, then go able for go the foul and then it come to their advantage in such a way that the other team will sometimes na skilled players them no more they no go able for benefits inside that game they like in fact then go they concede goals them too because the tackling where the other teams are be do the rule way been there for stop them not for the do it don't come on now, it don't change. And that's exactly waiting with the try for talk about inside this situation of how state capture will basically make the national revenue, the money for go for the good of all. If they come to few individuals them through not all by corruption where then they go thief money or not, instead then they change the entire rules of the game. You see. Now Famulem, before we go to the next segment, we go discuss how basically then they capture the revenues them way for go they come for make development. I want we take a short break.
Welcome to True Talk Radio, you home for facts, fairness, and fearless conversations about saloon economy.
We're not just any radio. We're an economic governance radio station where they break down big decisions, policies, and budget in a way where go make sense to you.
For our flagship Sunday show We Economy, we bring you the real bread and butter issues where they around prices, jobs, taxes, and how policies they affect unu pocket. We also get more programs where they come every week. So join me now on 98.5 FM and online at True Talk FM. This now your platform, your economy and your voice on True Talk Radio. Get the facts, get True Talk.
Alright, family, welcome back. Like we been they say, we don't discuss what we mean by domestic revenue and what we mean now by how revenue is captured basically. Now, why are they bringing this important part of this to you now that the topic already we don't mention how for the good of all then the domestic revenue in this case, where for good build school them, build hospital them, falls in the hands of the few. Where if for them inside the hands of a few, it means they don't capture the revenue, where for good they go for benefits with all inside Sierra Leone. Now, what exactly we mean by capturing the revenue? When we say capturing the revenue, if they refer to not only you they go take bribe and then take something in a person and some say you a policeman, you open a police post, you come out to carry no get license, you make it give small money and then it pass even if you not pay license or not. Now when they change the entire rules them with the inside the country so that something where for don't amount for be a crime or something where somebody for don't actually pay money for and not end up for pay money again. You see, now in capturing the revenue, how money way for go into development, other people then they work out with them by themselves, and not to say that they take as in the case of corruption. Now that's then they change the actual rules them with the inside the game, so that waiting for them be foul, not they be foul again. You see, and then we get 4 ways them we money they lost inside the states basically. Where we want to look at the first one, tax exemptions them and secret waivers them. When you say tax exemptions them, waiting we they try for understand inside this case now that now you get certain situations them or certain opportunities them they where then they afford to certain companies and at the country that you not pay tax. Imagine say all business within at the country for pay certain money to government for let them operate inside that country there. You see, imagine you get your shop and then now next man get your own shop back, even if in shop big pass you own, and on a that same street. Now every day you they see people in the camp like government workers in the camp that shop to you and then they say my man na for pay tax, so give we money for let we able for use and for develop the country from this business wey you dey do. But then they notice say that the other man we get big shop pass you na that same street they on, that same part they will say you they sell. You know they pay tax at all. In fact, when government they go to them, government they tell and say no, the people then they tell and say no, you don't need for pay tax. Now the thing is, you don't understand why in fact they make that other man not for go they pay tax. You don't understand who say a pull any kind parole then they who say a pull any kind pardoning then they and who's kind power a get away for make people then tell and say enough for pay tax. You don't understand them at all. Just they say enough for pay tax, but then you they pay tax. If they make they realize say the profit way for done the amount or the amount of money way for the keep inside your business and other person if they get away with them, but then you then they use them for beat you. Now can then they use for beat you. And where then thing they happen and not they actually help you as a businessman. And not to just businessman, you know they help government self, you know they help because the money where government for them get from that big institution, it not get for the get time again. And so that 1 trillion you don't begin season for like, you know, kind inside government in copper. And it actually they happen inside Sierra Leone, they happen inside big companies them all over the world. In fact, that you they get certain institutions them no more where by law. Even if you get law way for talk say they all for good they pay tax, but then it not apply to them. That law not they apply to them. Do they get an administrative waivers them where they give them say that tax obligation without the move and pay you. So you don't need for pay tax to be. You see, and where did they do transparent? The government able for tell people them say no pay tax. Then they very understandable. Government able for do them. When they do them, then that is a policy tool line in the use for do that if not openly. Like literally this 2023 government passed a tax and duty exemptions act where I think in make notes inside they say them anything where any market or any business or anything where in the count inside the country where not for help disabled people them tax waiver they don't need for pay tax for them. Then an example, government realize the amount of strain where them people them with disabilities they face, and so a watch them and say okay, if that is the case, them anything where they come inside the country when are them immune or when are for assist them, we don't they make let them pay tax. In that case that means say then they able for amass enough profit for able for provide for themselves and their upkeep. Then in a policy tool, the tax and duty exemptions act now a policy tool where governments use. But then if you do them secretly and I don't the money me and I don't the money the ordinary Sierra Leonean, if you do them secretly way not to how government won't let you do them, you just they use your power for do them without anybody no know that is state capture. If you do them secretly, you they actually award people them secret waivers them. So no, you get Mr. A, Mr. B institution, C institution, D, una all, una no. You don't need for tell anybody. The money where NRA for the collect from you need to collect some left and no. Just give me something like all in my pocket. We set much what I'm done in a state capture, and then I mean that happen inside South Africa. The Guptas, the men Indian them, we actually like them. They get them big business, and then Jacob Zuma been they say. Then people are like they're not being they pay tax, but anything with them business being they operate. And what's for Rwanda no more is stop. By the time when Jacob Zuma they come on a par, that talk me don't go so far that like when the investigation come and when the people then pull notice of the investigation, South Africa shock. That one becomes so powerful because of them tax waivers and their other way them with the old money to a point that they tell Jacob Zuma order for being minister and order not for being minister before Jacob Zuma actually they appoint people them. That's how big it got. You see, but that may not to the only way no more way people them they capture state revenue. Yes, exemptions then be able for help for attract investment. When I they are aware of just not about China, not to China they use them there as a system. China been use them, then call the economic zones. Sierra Leone they about to establish them in fact in certain areas. Them say where you get there, you know they pay tax. China be non-use them for develop themselves and then they help them greatly. But then if you do them, say Parliament not get oversight on them or there is no public register about it, then not to exemption you they do for develop the state. Now giveaway you they do, and that giveaway they hurt me and they hurt government badly. The second one where in fact we forget a guest where they talk about this expansively based on the research where they do not transfer pricing. Now imagine this. For let I explain, I actually want to give an example, because when I'm in camp find out about transfer pricing, and where I watch I laugh. I have this friend Timothy Bangora, where Sabi didn't think here well. So me and him get a conversation. He said, man, think I'm this way. He said, now you get an institution, so you get a shop where they operate, you get two shops them where they operate in one state, you understand. Now based on them shop them, the government will don't set price on how much them for good they sell Maggi. Let me say Maggi no more. Now imagine say then two shop them they within another street they. Now one person get them. Government don't say for good they sell Maggi 10,000 million. You see, then two shop them they now when one person gets them. What's in the happen now is the big shop where the small shop, sometimes the big shop in they go buy overseas couch, and then the small shop and like this local or domestic shop where then they use for retail business, not to wholesale. Now that small shop they go buy from that big shop, they weigh them all two, then at the same street, so and one person get it all two. What thing that happen is the price where government go down set for Maggi when at 10,000 million. The big shop they go extra price they for that small shop, where that small shop they can buy one. You see, so instead of 10,000, sometimes they go buy on 20,000 million. Now, when the small shop they go for go sell that Maggi, the tax duty where them for go don't put on them, then they like literally they cry now say no, I go buy this thing, dear one. So if I come sell them at so price, it go among me. And I not go make better profit inside it. So waiting me the big that tax they were for pay for this particular good, pull them come up on me, so that I go able for sell this particular Maggi and then get profit. Whether they happen I not transfer pricing. Waiting what happen now that money for don't go to government and as tax. Government they pull am because government feel say that guy will get a small shop. If no one knows say na the same person there or two the shop, that guy will get a small shop, don't go buy from a big shop and then charge them 2 D and I make it where it come in need for come sell them at a certain price. And if it need for make profit for that particular sell, the government no need for put tax business pan. You see, if government can find out say na the same person get all two then shop them there, and you kill don't play for, make sure say it go able for sell that Maggi at a different price without government not tax them, it become a big problem. So now that's the way they talk, but when them big institutions then they come, then they try for shift profits them outside places them outside the tax really high by setting in-house prices them per certain goods them and sell them out to the public. Now not transfer pricing. The thing now is most of the institutions them way they do this, the problem what they get with them now is then they make them in a way as if the actual price them way them go down go buy a commodity for or way them go down offer a service for now price them way very high and they do beyond their control, not knowing say now the man them wrong go set this price here by themselves within the new company them, and then they play you key for the government not tax them. And I not transfer pricing. What can they happen basically? If they make enormous money with government for don't get for development purpose, they go inside their own pockets instead of government in pockets. And so who side them for go don't use that money? They let me say if now no one call mining institutions and name them, but let me say if an institution where they inside corner right now, the money where they for go don't use now for let people them that cannot get motor get schools them get university, them get you name the public goods them. It not will go to corner people them again because the money now they for gas tax or even as corporate social responsibilities themselves. So you see, now the second way than the third way where I want to look at now then procurement weaknesses them and overpricing. Now if you get weak procurement rules them, when we say procurement rules them, with the talk about the laws them where they set on how governments they go buy things the way they use. You see, if you get weak laws them, if you not get competitive tendering systems them, usai before government they award contract, all man for come do bidding for them, and then who that actually come with the best offer na in government they take, and they begin come with problem because government will go get to somebody now where they close to them, and they award that contract to somebody where they close to you, and sometimes when you get that contract, the service where they can offer, it not go be better at all. Let me make an example. I'm not saying I am not making claims here, but when I remember the deal with the ID card them, we didn't expect say the voter ID cards them we get for come up, get for be of high quality. But then when the voter ID cards them come up, when you take your ID card from Bulem, remember, you be like what you see. No, so the national ID card or the voter ID card, you like what you see. Me, where I've been taken, my face been so dark, I'm not able to recognize myself this. I needed to go take the national ID card and that ECOWAS ID card for they are able for, in fact, get an identity for myself, an identity card for myself. Now, imagine say in that scenario then, I am not saying that be again at the talk I am not quoting anything here, but imagine in that scenario, say, government actually being award a contract to somebody who not even get better services for offer. In the end, the quality service what we for long get for something where government they put money per, they end up going inside the pockets of the few, and then the output now something when me and we not being like. Now then an effect of awarding contracts to people them we actually not deserve them, or we not they up to par, or we not even get the best service system for offer. We all remember the case of the deal of the timber business that this country, not to in government they award that timber practice day to somebody I will not name who, but we know who that government they award that service day to. Where them be awarded that timber contract to. Now them been for good, they actually measure the timber them in using a certain metric system. But the people and where government be make that award where government be award them to, they not use that metric system. They instead then finger government. So if our government for good they make 2,000. Now 200 million government will they make. The balance 1,800 now you man their pocket till they go. Imagine, and then ship lots and lots of timber come outside this country using a false metric system to a point where you man them don't get the profit. Now them go build one something some side. When they don't go build something some side, people are glad. Hey, these are developments they count at the country for we glad. You will know the stuff. You will be here and follow them. You can't find out say this is not the case. We know it in them people here do. And you see how money for would they go to the government? No, they can. At the end, we say got past government go on after MCC. For that we get money for even for all we go loan. For that we able for flop how much money we go use for make sure say things go well as a in a given year. And then from the last one, now digital revenue leak them or illicit financial flows them. With this particular one, I will not mention say we will get e-payment systems them all sign at the world now, not so in. Now with them e-payment systems them yeah, it means say you don't need for use money for pay for certain commodities anymore. No. You as in physical money, you don't need for use and you just need for swipe your card or you just need for make swift transfers them. Now so the government, that's so the world don't improve. If I did get this code to edit, when you go to other country, so I don't want to say so man they retain physical money. Because all the transactions them not to paper based, now digitally based. So if they allow for less corruption, because all things digitalized, when you put now this the computer they record, you know able to say now for where the computer don't record too. You see, and me come been tell me say we'll be discuss. He say, remember, he say the world is not a bad place. He say it's our government that sucks. Where they are than they are, and I am not referring to just Sierra Leone. I refer to anybody where they inside any country where they feel saying country not sweet. They said the world is not a bad place. It's our government that sucks, and the way where they handle systems them inside the country or inside your own country, now in they make you know they enjoy your country. So when you come to them thing, if other institutions, other countries them don't go as far as yonder, where then they use digital currency system. Sierra Leone they try for reach to that standard, they were getting there. Unfortunately, we still get a lot for do. But that is not the focus for this. The focus now that gaps like in them payment systems them we can go digital. And you can get them mandatory receipts them where people them for actually they get when they make service, where they make payments them, they're not can they get them. When you withhold those receipts, or when they get fragmented collection channels them, or when they get like poor integration and payment platforms them actually within the treasury systems actually they create gaps them in waiting in how then they audit them then scales them, or how then they audit them services them, or how then they audit them payments them where don't they happen. If you don't wanna shop, for example, you're gonna try to go to supermarkets for buy something and who's you for don't get money for do a payment, or who's you for don't get money for who's government for don't get money, you always say GST, sorry, for any good way you buy, they not offer you receipts. government's not able for track that thing they not able for track that payment they. So in the end, money wey for don't go to government, them man and not hold on for themselves inside try it an example that they make. So you see how these ones back can be used as a way for divert currencies them or for divert money outside government in pockets. We don't read them ways them, yeah. We don't see how government they lost money. We don't understand now why make, well, these are just 4 ways them, but we don't see why make the domestic revenue, the money where government they collect and itself out of the total money where the country they make. If you a small say a small, just come on, 8.8%, not even 30%, government money for the make, money where government for the make. We don't see how their money are they lost. We they come join the national coordinator for budget advocacy network for let me how how transfer pricing and extractives and basically to make governments lose money. What it mean and how it affect Sierra Leone. Now we take a quick break. When we come with a calling the guest and then we will evaluate say get for say.
Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Cabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for they talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do and how in they affect price, profits and other things there and we own safe life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country. Every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio. Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Cabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for they talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do and how in they affect price, profits and other things there and we own safe life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country.
Family Muna, welcome back. And so now the coordinator, the national coordinator for Budget Advocacy Network don't join we. Budget Advocacy Network na this institution, na this civil society institution, we actually they monitor all things related to finance and monetary systems them, inside government practices them na the country. And they are renowned when it comes to financial business. I don't think there's any other civil society institution or group we actually they monitor those things inside Sierra Leone than Budget Advocacy Network. And so we get the national coordinator now, Mr. Abubakar Kamara. We don't join we and then we do a research on transfer pricing inside the extractive sector. And now we want let it come using that one day we can get knowledge on transfer pricing basically. So good evening, Mr. Abubakar Kamara, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good evening, Sierra and good evening to Talk Radio.
All right, Mr. Kamara, in plain language, what's not transfer pricing and why Sierra Leoneans for worry about them?
Well, transfer pricing a complex something, but basically a practice wherein multinationals then they set the price of either goods, services, or either the interest of a loan or intellectual properties between the subsidiaries then in different countries. Subsidiaries in this sense, for example, company A go dey salon, but you also get another company where related to one, maybe they Ghana or they Nigeria or the US. So what will happen is they can set the price then whether they transact among themselves below the market price. So like for example, if we take for example a company with mine iron ore, and the price of iron ore, let me say for a price, it is like $10 at the market price. Then he said and say among themselves na $3. Because what man they do is that it affect the profits where they make. Because as government, what they can, what one of the taxes they collect from the institution, they now the profits. So when you set the price below, it means say they reduce the profits. It can also happen the other way around in terms of, like the same example, company A, the salon company B, the other country. And minute transfer pricing, it doesn't happen just at the mineral sector. It happens almost in every sector. Let's take for example telecommunication. If telecommunication say they want buy mobile phone, then for can sell a salon. They can set the price where come be out of salon. The price at which they sell to company A the salon at a higher price. You know, in business, now where you don't pull the position, money to the left, now profits. So what then they also the mini game, it increase on the cost. And when it increase on the cost, it affect the profit. It can also happen in services, in consultancy services them.
Okay.
So there may be some TV consultants for them for $10,000. They go say they go bring it, they go the company be what they out of salon go invoice the company in a salon say this service is not for $100,000. Well, actually the market value for that service they maybe not $10,000. So it increase the cost. So it can also happen in both ways. So it happen in every sectors. So transfer pricing, I mean, like very serious and technical issues. There are instances then wherein they shift profits from a high tax jurisdiction, for example, salon, or the corporate income tax around 25%. There are other jurisdictions them where they are tax free, they need to pay tax. And most they will don't see some of them subsidiary company they go set in businesses then now then tax free country. So basically in simple term, like a practice wherein when two parties then they trade, where they're related, they're connected, then they manipulate the price.
Okay.
In the case wherein they pull on a salon, they go for wholesale out, they can reduce the price. So for example, company A, they go to company B at a low price, but what company B they go selling now to the world at a higher price. But of course, something B not get linked with salon. So therefore, salon no go calculate that profit there. You all the profit to salon go calculate. Now the profit between A and company B and company B now they don't sell to black price. Who them business is the next.
All right. So, Mr. Kamara, you get any reasonable range estimate of the annual loss we Sierra Leone King the loss from transfer pricing or?
So coming B. Let's see. Are we getting the right prices? And
we get interruptions in the connection, Mr. Kamara.
So
we get interruptions in the connection, Mr. Kamara. We get interruptions in the connection. We know they get you clearly. All right. right, Famulem, as we try for get in touch back with Mr. Abubakar Kamara, we don't hear what it get for say on transfer pricing. We also get one more thing for ASCAM, where we want to understand whether or not we get a definite loss or we get a fixed loss, which Sierra Leone the loss from. Hello, Mr. Kamara, we've been to get interruptions inside the connection, and we don't know if you get we clearly now.
They get now very clear, and they get now very clearly.
Okay, we the connection mean the loss. We not been the you clearly, sir. Yes. So we say as we move to the other part, we get inside Sierra Leone. Do you go able to tell me if we can get a range estimate from the research we wanna do on the annual loss where Sierra Leone can be lost from transfer pricing inside Sierra Leone? Or a case who say revenue clearly went missing because of transfer pricing?
In 2017, we did a study where the report entitled "My Question" will say, "Are we getting the right prices and wealth and return for our wealth?" And from that study, the study estimated an average of $83.7 million as revenue forgone just from corporate tax from the period 2004 to 2014. When a two misinvoicing. I think it will be good to also family then really understand how we arrive at that data there. Or basically how we lost revenue as a country from transfer pricing practices.
We can carry
Number one, now it reduce with corporate income tax because profits, then they underestimate the profits there, or they find a way for shrink the profit. As I don't explain this now, one of the things tax the government collect from company there now corporate income tax, and the corporate income tax now the profit of the business. So it happens in two ways. Number one, now on the import side, where in the company that they inflate for example, the equipment them, that they inflate the professional cost them, that they even inflate the interest rate of the loan that they go take. So what's happen? It affect the profit because the cost of high. So outside government forget a profit, say for example 100 million, because of the increase of them cost then maybe government will just get 5 million. So it affect government to lose money from corporate income tax as a result of transfer pricing practices. Another area now from the issue of royalties. For example, in the case of Sierra Leone, now 3% royalty, and that 3% simply means the value of the commodity with the export. But if then undervalue them commodities today, outside the market price now $10, then see now $5 per post for ton. For example, if the market price now $10, then see now $5 per ton. It means it reduce the overall value, and when it reduces the overall value, it will also affect the royalties. Now we see quite recently wherein we get some different figures from Minister of Finance, from NMA on the export them. These are some of the possible things then. So it will also affect royalty when they come to us alone. But also again, most of them big companies then they get an issue of management fees, the issue of interest. So we also lost more revenue from withholding taxes because of the artificial management fees them, where you can only set for manage the business them, when they below the market prices them. The other one again, now at the port, what you call custom and trade revenue loss, because they under invoice exports. In fact, the ports now two things they happen there. Then they under invoice the exports. That the see what they export. If it will be $20, and they send up $5, and then they over invoice the imports. So when you under invoice the exports, of course it affects corporate income tax. It also affects the royalties the government gets. And when you over invoice the imports, of course it affects the operational costs. Of course, subsequently it also affects the corporate income tax. So now that area, so basically with the loss from transfer pricing. But from the reports we do, we estimate that now $83.7 million revenue forgone from trade invoices. And besides that figure, they have been really conservative figures and the way we calculate. We mean say that figure far way above that particular one day. So now a very big area in where government really need for put emphasis on, and we don't see over the years government start for put some laws there, some policies there for particular, but on a very critical area. And in fact, globally in Africa, we lost something like up to $50 billion annually from practices like transfer pricing. And what that money they in more than the development aid they can now in Africa. So if Africa really come together and find a way for tackle transfer pricing, illicit financial flow issues, then it will really make us less dependent on that we aid them. We may not bring a conditions them will not favorable. So the same thing again like Sierra Leone. Now issue we very complex. But an issue we get high potential. If government will find a way for reduce them, for go to bring a lot of revenue, and not only the mining company, it happen. It happen in the telecommunication sector. It get the possibility for happen in different sector then. Especially sectors then where they get subsidiaries companies them, and mainly it can happen between subsidiaries company them. This company then also you get a branch in Ghana, you get a branch in UK, you get a branch in society. So when they do that transaction among themselves, this is where they manipulate either the invoice, the export or the import values them.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abubakar Kamara. From if I get key takeaway from him, thank you very much, Mr. Abubakar Kamara, for contributing your voice from the Budget Advocacy Network on transfer pricing inside Sierra Leone. Alright, so if we hear from Mr. Abubakar Kamara, waiting they showing at that, and this is not something where it really touched me. Africa as a whole, they lost per year inside every given year, we've lost 50 billion. From practices that relates to transfer pricing, and it said that is more than the development aid where they can inside Sierra Leone. It means sorry where they come inside Africa. It means the money where they left we pass how much they come. The money where they take from we in just services pass how much then they send back say with the help owner. Waiting and they tell you if from transfer pricing alone that amount of money we actually been the user like that money where we they lost from transfer pricing will be the user for development inside Africa and the user Africa because Navandi mentioned and inside Sierra Leone they say close to 80 million in 2017. If we use that money alone for pay teachers there or for build schools them, there's a lot even for make railways, there's a lot we for don't do with that money there. And family them, this is how Sierra Leone as a country they lost in national revenue them. This is how money we for go into development, money we for use for build schools, they go in the hands of few people them, either in the form of profits like in the case of transfer pricing, or if they go in other situations them so waiting they try for the una for sure una the parameters them will actually they support and ways them in which with the lost revenue our governments they lost money where they make pass man them go this one is very funny. Pass man them go lobby for MCC grants. It's very I am not saying they should not go out for money, but that, imagine you as Papana Us they go big like you they make them publicly they go big to neighbor for money or like you can feed you us. That is what is happening basically when we go for aid. You are telling me help me and able feed me safe. And not to something where any country for be proud of, but yeah, Africa is doing it because we lost so much revenue, and sometimes we know they even able to track how, and we know they know how for bringing that revenue back into the economy. You see, then we want to continue this topic. The thing we make IGR as an institution and True Talk Radio as a media company, they try to focus on state capture and they focus on how we they lost national revenue. Now that's the money where Sierra Leoneans them for actually don't they use for development. If they can go away, governments they use beaucoup money where they make passing goals for go lobby for aid, for like able for bring developments in the country. We as the Institute for Governance Reform and at True Talk Radio feel say if we able for push, if we able for lobby, for let we get them money, them will be the loss. For like if we able for make government stop for the lose money through these illicit systems, then we were able to amass so much wealth, so much revenue that we don't need to rely on aid on external help for let we able for feed we also or for let we able for make the country grow. Solutions checklist them they were actually we've been present where we've been for go into. I mean, if you like say Mr. Kamara in fact not highlights everything that we need for me. It don't highlight that even without going through these solution checklist them on how we able for deal with losing so much revenue. We already don't understand what we need for do. For example, we've been mentioned and we've been mention tax exemptions. Now we get parliamentary oversight or public register of the exemptions them where governments they put for any institution or any sector in a 1 year tax waiver. If that need to happen, we be able to know who that get right for say we need pay tax and who that not get right for say we need pay tax. That time if man say they give government the money, only for use for development we they go Holland. You get exchange of information and pricing rules then basically for this transfer pricing. We need to be rigid on them because like how Mr. Kamara don't say, we dey lose lots of income tax. We corporate income tax now in they go in these situations then. So if we get pricing rules then we actually rigid and they monitor how the situations then they happen across and within these systems or within these institutions then you they actually get something solid. You see, and when we make something solid as in systems them, we know they allow for let we lose revenue and for let multinational corporations them export them profits them without Sierra Leone actually benefiting from it. And if we get e-procurement dashboards, I don't want to spill the bean on something, spill the bean on something, but I get this my colleague we all the work. We actually this is not one of the work them I actually specialized in instead of we go in for secret ballots them or secret tenders them, like we they get e-procurement dashboards them, we forget they register all procurement deals them so that me and you go able monitor them and then competitive biddings them go actually be tendered so that nobody don't go award a contract to somebody we not deserve them, we for make me and you lose on the quality service where we forget. You see, and we forget to mandate the AE6 them. This one particularly will go for the illicit financial flows them or them digital payment systems them. We say man them they buy goods them and then they be told receipts before they make they register to the National Revenue Authority on waiting them institutions or waiting them businessman them or human them. And so these are the solutions checklist so we've been developed briefly on how we feel say we for able to deal with them problem them. Yeah. Not for this week number we will stop. Next week back we get for delving either me or Andrew Lavalley when the executive director of the Institute for Governance Reform go there for go into all topics them for explore this topic particularly on how we lose state revenue and how we affect Sierra Leone. That is the state capture we will try for tell you about, ladies and gentlemen. And family them so till next week. May we don't begin the program to you today. My name is Bimba Kamara. True Talk gets the facts, gets True Talk.
Business not for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Cabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for they talk about the things that where they happen at the market. Things